Next 15 minutes, I'll sort of take you through a little bit, but I'm going to start by putting a disclaimer, and I do not hide behind small print. It's big print. I don't know much about technology. I don't speak very well. So what the hell am I doing here? I'm here essentially to tell you that the two cars from today, what you're going to be using is going to be an electric vehicle. And also I'm going to warn you, electric motorsport is contagious. Can you rock the video, please?
Engine check, brilliant.
First career pole for Felix Rosenqvist.
P1, mate. P1.
On the racetrack.
Heidfeld jumped through in the red and white Mahindra car.
And we go green in Montreal. Rosenqvist has got away well. The lead has been held by Felix Rosenqvist.
Well, I hope that woke you up. So Mahindra got into motorsport, and we've just been there for 3 years, while motorsport's been happening for 100 years. So we are a novice. We are still a toddler out there. So how do we look at ourselves? We are not a racing team. Let me make it very clear. We are not a racing team. We are a product company. So what we're trying to do with Mahindra Racing is accelerate innovation, bring technologies back to you and bring it at a quicker pace. And that essentially is what we're trying to do out here. So what's our mantra? That's race to road. So what we race brings it back to the road. Okay. The first and the most important thing what you do in electric racing is its relevance. A lot of you might be following Formula 1 or other forms of motorsport. Trust me, while there's a lot of usage and a lot of useful stuff which comes from it, it's not very relevant to your road car. Take the Formula 1 engine from Mercedes or something like that. You cannot put in a road car and drive a road car. What happens in electric racing is these engines are the exact engines which go into your car, which is going to be coming down there. So we talk about the relevance out here. The second thing is obviously rapid innovation. See, in Mahindra, for example, it takes around 6 years to develop a new platform and come out with a new car. We do one every year. So how do we take that knowledge back to mothership is something which is really important in terms of doing it once, compressing the life cycles, and also doing it right the first time around. It's very important, because for us, if we are ready or not, the race starts at 4 o'clock in the evening. We have to be there. So, as I just said, we basically, in the end of the day, all of this goes back, we beam it back up to mothership. Mothership being either in Mahindra Electric here in Bangalore, or Mahindra Research Valley in Chennai, or Mahindra North America Technical Center. Depends where it goes. It goes back in Open and Frina in Italy. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to do as a product organization is bring back technology back here. So the next bit of the thing I'm going to divide into 2 parts right now. One is to try and talk a little bit about technology out here, and the rest is also try and bring some more context into product. Formula E, this is a new form of motorsport. It's only like 3.5 years old right now. It's run by the same people who run Formula 1, that's the governing body FIA, and the E obviously stands for electric. It is the fastest growing form of motorsport. It has a maximum number of manufacturers. So when Mahindra is racing here, we are racing against all the big boys in the world. There's Audi, Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, Jaguar, Citroën, Renault, etc., etc. And we never look at ourselves as an underdog. We are there to compete. And we're there to keep a head high and compete with them in spite of us being down there. How do we do it? I'll try and talk to you in the next few minutes about that. The first bit about Formula E is we think and we try to be always engaging. There's a lot of social media, there's a lot of fan attraction, there's a lot of communication going back to the fans out here. We do a lot of live streaming. We've tried to go towards the digital rather than terrestrial in terms of television, etc. There's something very unique, and this might be one of the few sports in the world where you can directly influence a part of the sport, and that's called fan boost. You can vote for your favorite driver, and the top 3 drivers get a little bit more energy during the race. And interestingly, the first overtake which ever happened in this championship was one of the votes which was received for Mahindra in Putrajaya, which was in Malaysia 2 years ago. We do a lot of crowdsourcing, and especially at Mahindra again, we guys go back to crowdsourcing because we do not have the infrastructure what some of the other people have. And out there, there's brilliant minds sitting out there, we try and do it. So we basically do both from a technology side crowdsourcing and also from a design side. So just to show a few examples of social media, etc. We are the only team which actually gets a car schema designed by a fan. So this schema, what you see out there, was designed by a fan, and we implement it and we run it. So what we call driven by design is our theme out there. So we send out kits, and we had people last year from I think 42 countries who participated in I think 12,000 applications sort of came in from 3-year-old to I think 73 with the sort of age range in trying to do design. So posters for every event, etc. This is all crowdsourced. So we try and maximize what we can using the power of knowledge which is out there. Oh yeah, in the end of it, we also want to give unique experiences to people out here. So as you guys know, Gul, she's one of the biggest adrenaline junkies in the world. So she comes down to our private race track in Spain. I would invite all of you, anyone, if you want to come down there, have a look at it, and we might give you a run in the car also, okay, if you're good to us. So now coming back to a bit more on the software side. My past experience before Mahindra Racing was essentially doing sport technology. I've been doing it for the last 15 years. And what we have sort of learned out there is it's not about best practices. It's all about best experiences. We do not believe in cutting edge technology. We don't want bleeding edge stuff. We want stuff which works. Because at the end of the day, technology in sport is something akin to a goalkeeper in football. You never remember the goal, like the sort of saves the goalkeeper makes. You always remember him for the misses that he's done. So basically, technology in sport should sort of be out there. Like you get a ticket, you swipe a ticket, get to the stadium, you get your seat, you might scan your badge to get your food, etc. If everything works well, where was IT? It was there, it is not there. The moment something fails is what we talk about. So a lot of it, what we try and put together out here is people with experience. It's not necessary. So if we take the conventional software development life cycle, and I might be talking from a few years ago and all those various models, we guys try and break a lot of it, or it's not intentional, it's just the industry. We work on production servers. It's a live event. We have to sometimes get on productions. We don't have time for staging, going through all the cycles, testing, etc. So work on production. So it's again, how does the experience come in and you sort of work out there? And I think that's something which is really interesting, is that both in terms of even driving an electric car and software, you have to unlearn what you have learned earlier in terms of even the style of driving, you coast, you regen energy, etc. So that's something really important. In the end of it, okay, all of us talk about software. For us, user interface is really important, because when we simulate something on the car, everything can be made a constant. We guys have enough of sensors in the car to fill up a server, what you guys want in terms of, I think there are like 350 sensors giving, I don't know, X terabytes of data, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, there's one variable in the car, that's our driver. Okay, and the driver needs to make decisions. The driver needs inputs, because in this form of motorsport, he's not only using the energy from which is coming out from the battery, he also can put back energy into the battery in terms of when does he regen, etc. So at the end of the day, it goes down to small little bits as how do we tweak and make a steering for him in terms of user interface. So in the end of the thing, okay, what are we doing at a racetrack? We've got the cars ready there. Cars are qualified, 20 cars on the grid, 2 of them are ours and 18 others from the other 9 teams. So we are now starting a parallel game of chess. Okay, and that slide didn't sort of come up. But essentially, what we're trying to do is we're playing chess, and I'm still in my previous slide, so keep the imagination going there. Okay, guys, read this later. Is that we are playing chess with another 18 people, and motorsport is unique in one way. While you have teammates, there are 2 drivers of the same team, these teammates are essentially competing against each other. So we have to manage that creative tension within the garage and give them both free the opportunity. So one half of the garage is trying to beat the other half of the garage, while we are collectively trying to bring the team out there. So that's the sort of, I think, the fun and the challenge, what we have to do. And what we can get in terms of technology, in terms of real-time learning, in terms of information, is how we play the game with the other 18 players out there. Okay? And that I think is, from a technology perspective, really challenging. And I would love to hear from you experts after this, if any of you have any ideas you want to share with Mahindra Racing. We guys look at ourselves as disruptors. Okay? We are the fastest growing team in the fastest growing form of motorsport. And that gives us a lot of pride. Because I remember when we started 3 years ago, we started in a hotel conference room, okay, in England. It's like going out there in the middle of the thing, trying to set up a team. So we started trying to look at, okay, what's best practices? What can we bring? What can differentiate us? We did not have the infrastructure of the other major teams like a Mercedes or a Porsche or someone like that, who have wind tunnels, who have different test beds and stuff like that to analyze the vehicles. We had one conference room in a hotel. And I think till that time we had one PC or something like that between the group. So we were a true startup, and we sort of looked at ourselves, what would someone like us in the valley do? We said, let's put our bets into software and simulation. That's where we can add horsepower. That's where we can sort of bring back stuff in terms of putting up huge capital investment. This didn't require that much amount of capital investment. And we started realizing that we can start simulating anything out there in terms of the race, the ride heights, the tracks, etc. So today for a 1-hour race, we do around 4,000 hours of simulation for a 1-hour race. Okay, so basically our guys are just running simulation all the time in terms of anything, okay, in terms of how to set up the car. So when the car first reaches a new racetrack, and we race in temporary circuits. So it's not like Budh circuit or Silverstone, which has already been laser scanned and all data points are there. We go to the middle of a city in a temporary track. So how quickly can we react? Our thing is, okay, this is a track, now quickly react. So we basically use various tools to try and map out the track once we get it, and thereafter try and race on it. So in the end of the day, I think what I'm trying to do out here is use tools and technologies, and I've really come here to learn from all of you over these next 2 days, is how can we keep this as our sustained competitive advantage going forward, which is software and simulation. So having said that, and I got 35 seconds, and this is my last slide, okay? So I'm asking you all to come and be a part of Electric Revolution, and yes, we are looking for technology partners, so that's my shameless plug. If any of you guys are out there who want to help us or want to work with us, we are all eyes and ears to you. Thank you very much.